Hello everybody and welcome back to Tlatoani, where last episode we expanded some of our farms down over here. We worked on getting our religion online, and we've got our economy pretty online now as well. To that end, I'd like to boost up our wages again because, as we can see, we're making a good amount of money. So that seems fine. We'll boost up our wages one more time. What's our taxes at right now? Taxes are at 10. I'm going to cut them down to 5, but we'll just leave them there. Okay, so that seems fine for right now, and we're currently waiting to see, well, we're not really waiting on anything, are we? What we need more than anything is to start developing our houses. So this small market may be reached by this granary, or it might not be. I don't think it actually is. So I think the issue is that the market doesn't reach the granary, because the granary does reach the market. If we were to move this granary to be here, though, that would probably solve the issue. Yeah, that should be fine. So I'll put it right up over there instead. That will cut a little bit into our wood out over here. It's like one location. I think it's fine. So that looks okay. And we know that this sweeper is pretty strained. I'm going to put in an additional sweeper down here, I think. Or we could put it here. Either of those would be fine. I'll put it here. That's okay for now. And I think another common home down over here is not a terrible idea. So just one right there, and then I do want to continue to work on chinampas in this area. There's only so much that we can actually do there, right? So that's understood. We're working on getting some additional farming areas up over here as well, but everything is looking good on that front. So we've got, these are fish exports here. These are salt exports. These are also salt exports. This is cotton and armor. I'm going to invert these at this point. So a little bit of cotton and a lot of armor space. That's the idea anyway. So there we go. Let's get that completed. And we are currently weaving quite a lot of cotton, but the real question is, how are we doing on our armor and weapons? Looks like we still need additional weapons. I'm going to expand our obsidian imports. Okay. So for now, that will do reasonably well, and that granary is now built, so that is excellent. We'll just get that moved right on over. And we don't currently have any food down in that granary. And now this market isn't actually getting anything. And this market doesn't, or this market does have a granary here. Let's put in one additional granary right around here in order to solve that. So this is going to be maize, fruit, chili, fish. We're going to be getting all of them, and then that's going to be 160, 160, and 120, as usual. So something along the lines of that should be fine. Now, I am noting that we are net negative financially right now. That's understood. We'll get there. Okay, so we've got lots and lots of fish down in this granary, but we need specifically maize to develop up over here. That's noted. So that's relatively fine. Our finances are back to being positive. That's good. And we've got lots and lots of armor up over in this trading post for export. So that's also in the category of good. Now we may want to get an additional trading post up here. And this trading post goal would be simply to export cotton. Only cotton. So that would be with these guys. Something along the lines of this. So then we ditch the cotton here. And that would just be armor. Now the question is there anybody that we can export weapons to other than the capital? Because I don't want to export weapons to the capital, if we can help it. These guys export weapons, but we want to not do that. Yeah, there's nowhere that we can send that. What about here? Can we actually attack here now? Our odds are considered slim. Okay. We may want to expand our military then, in that case. So, to that end, I'm thinking over by this granary, we've got this porter yard here as well that we can set to getting weapons and armor. And then we can put in a barracks down over here. Like this. And then a fortress right here without messing with any of our wood. So we can do that. Let's get that underway. And can we build a royal palace? Because we probably should if we can. Yes. And I want to build that royal palace ideally like right here. I'm just thinking about overseeing up over here. It's going to be a little awkward, but I think it's fine. Yeah. So I think it's fine. We're just going to need to Chinampa a little bit more space out over this way. And that's absolutely understood. We can get some of that going. Excellent. So a royal palace right here would oversee these two and these two, I think. It may not reach, or it may reach this one, this fortress as well. It may not reach all the way up over here. And I am noticing that we probably want an additional barracks as well. So that's something that we can think about too. So an additional barracks, where do we want to put that? Like up over here maybe, but that won't obviously fit there. Maybe down over here though. Not a terrible concept there. We just need to continue to Chinampa this area. And I mean, that's just a slow and steady process, right? So that's fine. Apparently we can Chinampa right there. Awkward. Okay, those are all, or this one is already Chinampa'd, but this one can be done. Seems good. We're currently very slightly net negative, so let's wait until this trading post is completed. What do we have up here for timber? Not a whole lot is the answer. I'm going to remove this section of road here and move that to be here instead. And then this section of road, I'm just going to run like straight out like this. And then I'm going to remove this awkward bit. Yeah, about like that. So we'll get that straightened out. That'll be absolutely fine. Okay. So I do want to think about putting in a porter yard up over here for construction materials. So I'm going to put that about here. And that's going to be, of course, clay, stone, and timber. We're going to be getting all of those. And then I'm also thinking a mason yard up over here is probably not a bad idea. So a mason yard can just be squeezed in. I'd love to put it there or here, but it just doesn't quite fit there. We're going to have to put it about here instead. And then we can put a second mason yard down over like this way somewhere, perhaps about here. Yeah, that'll be fine. So we'll get that in there. Looks good. And I'd like to do more Chinampas in this area. So any of this that can be Chinampa'd should be. So we'll get that underway. And then the Royal Palace, the plan is to put it right here. The residents here will require a scenic neighborhood. Yeah, that's not necessarily a surprise. I'm going to take Stone Road out over here. We can't build the Stone Road over the swampy terrain. So we're actually going to have to fully take this road out. And that's going to need to be Chinampa'd. So, you know, that's going to be exciting. So we'll get all of that Chinampa'd. This one can't be Chinampa'd yet. This section of road needs to be removed. Thank you very much. Okay, and then we're going to get what we can Chinampa'd out over here. But it's definitely going to be a bit of a process to get this in here. I do want to get another barracks down over here. I just don't think we have the space for it yet. Okay, so these can now be Chinampa'd. We'll just continue to work on that. Okay. So we have more Chinampa'ing that we can do over here now. And we just want to continue to Chinampa anything that we can out over here. That'll be very useful for us. This can now be Chinampa'd, which we should absolutely do. And we're making good progress out over here. Quetzalcoatl is furious at our insolence. Let's see. Who all is going to be boosted by our Great Temple? Tlaloc? Okay, yeah, sure. So we probably need a temple to Quetzalcoatl. Or at the very least, some shrines to Quetzalcoatl. So we could put one down over this direction. This is not a scenic neighborhood. This is good symmetry here, and I'm going to call that good enough. We're going to put one there, and then any symmetry up over this direction, perhaps? Yes, this is strong symmetry. We'll put one there, and then I'm going to put in one of these. Average symmetry here. Is that good enough? We'll just go with average symmetry. And then down over this direction, I'd love to put one in somewhere down over here. This is average symmetry. That'll have to do. Okay, we'll get those going. So that's fine for now. And we'll, of course, continue to work on our chinampas down over this direction. So I just want to grab here and click and drag anything that is legal for us to chinampa. They have to be within irrigation range of a canal or adjacent to dry land in order to be chinampa'd. So there's only so many places that we can chinampa at a time. So we are going to want to absolutely build a stone road through here. And that road is going to come in like this. This down here is all going to be stone road. This has to be removed. That is swamp. Stone roads cannot be built over swamp. So we have to get that chinampa'd. And then we'll just continue to chinampa out through here. We're making very good progress on that. We appear to be net positive still on our maze, and that is excellent. We need more education out over here. Yeah. So in the previous failed attempt, we had built an education location right here, and I still want to do that. So we're going to do something like this. That'll provide education this way, but we'll need some education perhaps out over here. Seems good. And then I kind of like education here. And I'd love to put some in over here, but I just don't think that's going to be a thing. We could put some in over here, though. So something kind of like that. That'll be some amount of education anyway. I think we should have some up here, though, now that I think about it. We should also probably have a sauna up over this direction. That can be squeezed in perhaps over here. And then a second sauna out over this way to help provide a little bit of extra services out this direction. But I do want to get some education over here. So we'll put in, yeah, here seems okay. And then we could do another one out over this way. And then maybe even one more right out over here. So that'll get us some additional education. That's great. We need maize to develop out over here. We're still working on it. The fish is our primary staple food, though. So all of this up over here is being worked on. I want to make sure that we have roads going in up through here, but there's only so much of that we can do. We're also going to need to chinampa right here, but we can't do that yet. Okay, that's noted. Only so much chinampaing that we can do at this moment. So we're going to take a stone road around this way, and we'll just bring that road down over here. And we know that we're going to need some chinampas out over here for sure. Let's see where else we can build stone roads at. Yeah, this is all fine. So a lot of this we can build stone road through, but a lot of it we can't. And of course, that means that these areas all need to be chinampa'd right out through here. This one can't be done yet. Actually, can. Excellent. And then we'll see if there's any other chinampas we can do up over here. Okay, so this was chinampa'd, so that means a stone road goes in right here. And the question is, can we get this royal palace in right here now? This is still claiming that it requires a scenic neighborhood, and that's understood. What about the barracks that we're planning on putting down here? Can we put that in? Yes. That can go in right here, and I'm okay with that. So that looks fine. We'll get that in there. That's just to pair up with this fortress. Okay, so that seems reasonable for the time being. We're net negative financially. I'm aware of that, and I'm keeping an eye on it. So that'll be okay. We want to run stone roads down like this, but there's only so much of that we can do for right now. So we'll Chinampa any areas in here that can be Chinampa'd. This area is nearly cleared. Enemies are on the march. Okay, that is absolutely noted. Not really a significant problem, I don't think. So that all looks pretty decent for the time being. We'd like to build more Chinampas over here, and there are 2 locations that we can actually put those in. We can now extend our road out over here, and this section of road is all doable. Okay, I'm going to do some Chinampas right over here, because I want to have this be squared off a little bit. Apparently, oh, that's saltwater terrain? That's a beach. So we have to build just a regular road over that. We can't build a stone road on a beach, and we can't change a beach into anything else. So the invading army has arrived. They awkwardly came in from this side, so that means that they're going to have to go all the way around and fight right here again. So we'll rally our forces right around over here. Actually, I'm going to have them come down over this way. And they'll arrive over here eventually. These guys are going to take a while to go through here. And they might spread out a bit, too. So that would, of course, be great for us if they did. We're just letting them come on in. Yeah, they're definitely in multiple groups at this point. That's very, very good for us. Engage. Okay, pull back. Re-engage. Excellent. Now they're just going to file in here. There's very little that they can do about this. Although we have one of our guys a lot further forward than the others. So let's just do that. Okay. Enemies have been beaten. We did take some losses there, but that is understood. We also somehow lost the Sawyer again. I don't understand how that happened, to be honest with you. But we'll rebuild it. It's not a big deal. So that's absolutely fine. Now then, down over this way. This barracks still requires additional stone, and we are still working on importing stone. I'm going to expand our import of stone a little bit here, but I am slightly concerned about our finances at this time. So we can see that we probably could use more fish exports. I'm going to run a stone road down like that, and then I'm going to put in a couple of additional trading posts here. One here and one here. These are going to be trading with these guys, and they're going to be just exporting fish. That's the only mission for them. We've got lots and lots of fish. So let's go ahead and export that. As we can see, we're also pretty full up on our armor at this moment. And that's fine. I'm not terribly concerned about expanding that yet. We'll get there for sure. Next up, I really, really, really want to get this royal palace in here. And they want a scenic neighborhood. So I want to continue to Chinampa these areas out over here. We're so close at this point to getting that completed. So that's underway. I want to check up over this direction. We can certainly start to put some roads up through here. And I'm thinking more maize production is ultimately going to be necessary out over this way. I think we still need to Chinampa a spot right over here, don't we? No? No, that looks good. Okay, so that is all underway. At this point, I'm just checking in on where these things reach. So we need to have both of our houses be on this side, right over here, like this. That's fine. We can absolutely do that. The maize is going to go here, and then the fruit trees are going to go like so. We should be fine here. This is one too many fruit trees here. And then chili beds are going to go like that. Perfect. Next up, maize can go out over here, and fruit trees. And we're just going to expand this production a little bit. Okay, so out over this direction, this should be fine out here if both of them are on this road. Keep in mind, this is going to be another set of services here, so it's not really going to be that big of a deal. So we'll get a couple of farmers' huts here, and this is, of course, also going to be maize production. This is going to be fruit, 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 and fruit, and then chili beds. Wonderful. Out over here, maize, and we'll do our diagonal fruit so that it grows better. Not like this. Hang on, something went horribly wrong there in my head. Okay, there we go. That's better. Perfect. So we'll get that online. Wonderful. And then down over this way, this is going to have a bit of a hard time being reached by any granary. So that means we're going to need a granary up over here. Now, that's not a surprise. I also want to begin construction on this road going all the way down here, and this road going all the way down here. But we're going to need to do some chinampas out over here. So I also want to construct this because that will enable us to make more chinampas, but that will not really long-term help this area, right? So we'll need to get that going, but this is a little bit wider, and so there's only so much that can be done here for now. But we'll get those chinampas underway. Okay, so we've got that going. That seems good for the moment. And we can continue to expand our farms out over this way, but this exact area right here just doesn't have much granary coverage. We could build a new granary right here, and that would solve that problem. But we'll also have granaries up here, right? And we can solve the problem that way as well. And those granaries will project out this direction. So that seems reasonably fine. I don't think we're terribly concerned about that. Out over this way, we do need a chinampa right here, and we need some stone road coming in like this. But we're going to need more beauty out in this area if we want to build our royal palace right here. So, to that end, we know we've got a little bit of space right down over here. So I'm going to put in a gardener, and I'm going to put in small gardens out this way. How far out does the royal palace go is a question we need to ask. So with that in mind, we're going to put this in right here. This is actually eligible to put it in here at this time. I want to put it in here. I really, really do. So we're going to put in more gardens down over this direction. And I didn't actually look at this. Okay, so this is as far over as it goes. That's noted. We could just continue to run the gardens all the way through here, though, kind of like this. And then see about putting in the royal palace up over here. So ideally, this would be a scenic neighborhood, but it unfortunately is not. We can put in more gardens down here and just max that out, kind of like that. Let's see how that goes once those gardens go in. Okay, so that seems fine for the time being. Now, down over this way, we can see that we can start to build more farming out over this direction. And that's absolutely fine. We can get going on that. So we can put in 2 farmers' huts here, and then 2 farmers' huts here, kind of like that. And then this location here is the only location that we don't really have granary access to at this moment. We'll tackle that when we do our next expansion, I think. So then fruit trees are going to go like, not that. Get out of there. Fruit trees are going to go like this. And then chili beds are going to go in. Perfect. And then, of course, we've got our maize field down here. And our fruit trees are going to go in like that. That actually routed correctly, which I was mildly surprised by. And then we'll do our maize fields here and fruit trees 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. This one has to go. But otherwise, we will do our chili beds. There we go. And finally, right here. So that's going to get us a lot more maize production, which is going to help us with our prosperity. We need to boost our prosperity, and I'm noting that we are currently net positive in our funds, despite the fact that these trading posts aren't yet built. So to that end, I'm going to come in and I'm going to raise up our wages to 80%. So that will be absolutely wonderful. We'll get that going, and this gardener here, we have a farmer here now, so we'll be able to get those going very soon. This Chinampa is only 20% matured at this moment. So that's understood. We are net negative financially now, and that's deeply unsurprising. We are not shocked about that in the slightest. But now that all of these gardens are online, the question is, can we build the royal palace where we want it? Which is right here. Yes, is the answer. Perfect. Let's get that going. So that's going to be able to oversee some of these facilities. It doesn't actually reach up over to here. Should we put it on this side? If we do that, it doesn't reach this fortress. I think it's fine. I'm not actually that concerned about it. So we need maize down over here, and this granary is supposed to be getting that maize. So let's get our maize production a little bit more online up over this way. We're going to have services up through here, of course, and I want to see if we can do any additional Chinampa out over here. I kind of doubt it at this point. This is probably going to be a fairly long-term project. We can do a couple. Okay, well, we'll get those underway. But it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we're going to finish our Great Temple, which is still reading as Abysmal Symmetry. I'm hoping it's actually better than that, but we'll see. And we're going to get our Royal Palace finished up fairly quickly as well, although I don't think we have a gold worker, and we do need gold artwork for that. So we should have a single goldsmith somewhere. Here is fine. That'll do. Okay, so that looks good. And with that, it is time to put a cut in here, so I'm going to go ahead and do that, and next episode, we are absolutely going to, hopefully, take out the people that keep attacking us. That's the goal. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings. I just realized we need a collector over here, and that's absolutely fine. We'll get that going. And a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Dark Horse, Ethan Feldman, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Rornaz, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.